If you feel like you're doing everything right in your business, but you're still not breaking through, it's probably because you're ignoring one of the four quadrants. My name is Amanda. I help spiritual entrepreneurs build six-figure businesses online using their human design, paid communities, and AI. And I've been studying human design for years because it's the most beneficial, valuable thing that I have found for understanding myself and for creating bespoke, holistic, personalized strategies for my clients. Because if I've realized anything, it's that there's no one right way. There's only your way and consistency. And there's 1.5 million ways to grow an online business. And the problem is most of them work. So it's like, what are the things that are going to work for us? But after building my own six-figure business and moving to Croatia, I recently discovered something that changed everything. But here's what most spiritual entrepreneurs don't understand about business blocks, is that all of the results, the abundance, the success, the clients' opportunities that we create are 99% created in the spiritual realm. 99% of anything we see in our life was created in the spiritual realm first. And if we're only going around trying to change what we see in the physical reality, we are missing what we could be receiving in our lives. And it's usually those deeply ingrained traits, fears, patterns, the things that just keep showing up that are what's holding us back. And we can use Kabbalistic astrology to decode our tikkun. Tikkun that's what we came here to do in Kabbalah. That is your correction. That's the lessons you came here to learn. And so your Kabbalistic astrology, your birth chart, is a map to your past lives and karma and the things that you came here to learn, grow, transform, change in this lifetime. And based on your sign, you can identify what are your reactive traits, the things that you revert back to when things get hard, painful, uncomfortable, uncertain, while also understanding the proactive traits that we have that unlock our gifts, that allow us to overcome the reactive tendencies that we're all born with. I mean, none of us is perfect. And sometimes it can be hardest for us to understand the things that we need to change about ourselves. And so Kabbalah gives us a map to do that. And so today we're going to use our Kabbalistic astrology to decode the quadrant that we're ignoring, essentially. And then I'm going to give you this ancient formula that's 100% guaranteed to create a miracle in your business. I mean, I am not lying. This is crazy. I can't even believe the results I've seen in my own business. And so today, even though we usually talk about human design, I am pulling back the veil on a new Kabbalistic concept that has really, really helped me when it comes to business. So Kabbalistic astrology is not your basic horoscope. It is an ancient system as old as time that shows you the reactive traits that are blocking your success and the proactive traits you have to unlock your gifts. And each sign has specific patterns that show up in business. It's as old as time because the planet, the constellations, have energy. And as a soul, before you came into this world, you chose the exact moment, the parents, when to enter this world based on the lessons that you knew you needed to learn. So you wanted to be born under certain signs that were going to be the most likely to bring out these painful things while also giving you the strength to transform them. And in my experience, most entrepreneurs stay stuck because we're only focusing on 2 out of the 3 quadrants while completely ignoring the 4th. So you might be working really hard and taking massive action, but you're bitter and resentful and complaining, or you're doing a lot of the mindset, shadow, spiritual work, but avoiding the action. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 4-quadrant miracle formula. Raise your hand if you'd like a miracle in your business. I know I do. And how to identify which quadrant you're ignoring based on your sign, and then why this ancient secret breaks through any business block. Guaranteed. So let me break it down for you. Today, we're just going to focus on our sun, moon, and rising sign. Your sun is like your predominant trait. Your moon is your internal world, how your inside emotional world. And then your rising is the mask that you wear. It's what other people see. in you. And so if you just want to skip forward, I'll put the timestamps for each of the signs down there so you can just cover those. But it can be helpful if you know, like we all know each of these signs. So it can be helpful to understand why they are the way they are and how we can improve our relationships with them. Because for any result that we're lacking in our business, it is because we are being reactive and reverting to instant gratification every time things get uncomfortable. And if I know anything, it is that business is filled with uncomfortable, scary situations that require us to become our best selves, because business is just a foil for becoming your best self. So if you don't have any interest in doing that, you should just go collect a paycheck. I can just tell you that right now. It is not for the faint of heart. So Aries reactive traits they have a lot of expectations on what reality should be. They can be very impulsive. They talk before thinking, can be very self-centered, independent, easily bored. But then the proactive ones, I'm just thinking about my best friend. She's an Aries and she's got like so much Aries in her chart. I barely have any. I think I have an Aries Venus. So they're proactive as they can just be fearless when handling life's challenges. Like no matter what life throws at them, they have this fearless attitude. They can be very adventurous, eternally cute and youthful. They're the first sign of the zodiac. They have a lot of that energy, that impulsive, and there's a lot of good things that go with that. And then they have the reactive side. I'm a Taurus sun, Pisces moon, Libra rising. Okay, so our reactive traits are we can be really stubborn, lazy. We have this deep-seated need for comfort, for having a home, personal space. This need for stability is very much resemblant of the fourth line in human design, which I am also that. And it's just like, for me, comfort and my clothes being soft are so important. Like I get home, my mom can stay in her work clothes longer. I'm like immediately want to be in my PJs in the soft, like just, I want that. And I feel like people think Tauruses, people think that we're lazy, but it's not even that. It's if I know that I have some work that needs to be done, I can't just lay on the couch for 8 hours and that knowing that I have to do that. So I'd rather just get my work done in the morning so that I can relax and lay on the couch for 6 hours, because if I want to do that, that's what I'm going to do. Can be very possessive in relationships and in love. Can also be hoarders, which I don't see this at all in myself, but I've just been doing research on this. Want to hold on to every little doohickey knick-knack thing they got from a music festival 8 years ago. And if everything I've learned, like, is it Vishnu? No, Lakshmi, the Hindu goddess of prosperity, only visits clean houses. If you don't have space, you don't have time. So this is a huge Jewish wealth secret. It's actually in all of the major traditions that the more stuff that you're holding on to and hoarding, it's taking up energetic space that you could be receiving in, because the universe abhors a vacuum. So if all of your space is filled with things that are no longer serving you, that aren't helping you become the next best version of you, those things are holding you back. They are placeholders that now can't be filled with what you actually want. Our proactive traits are we're very optimistic, persistent, resilient, loyal, dependable. Tauruses are great in love. Like if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. It's just going to be done. You don't even have to think about it. Geminis. So, and I like to know my clients, like, of course I need to know their human design for everything I do with them, but their sun, moon, and rising, like this tells me how they receive feedback and what are their tendencies. And so it's so enmeshed in everything I do. I feel like a lot of coaches and healers say it's holistic or bespoke, but it's just so important to know who you're working with. So Geminis can be very impatient, superficial, constantly searching, thirsting for knowledge, can be very anxious, non-committal, but then their proactive is very intellectual, very smart. They can be really friendly. Like I said, this desire for knowledge, sociable, witty, and funny. They're always thinking. They got a lot of action going on up here. Cancers. I have a lot of Cancer in my chart, but not in my sun, moon, or rising, but Cancers can have a lot of fears. This is my water signs. Very thin-skinned, cries about everything, really, really cares about other people, overly emotional, controlling, can be needy or clingy in relationships and love. And then the proactive traits of Cancer are empathy. Cancers have really good business sense. They're the ones who have a bunch of money and you don't know anything about. My Aunt Brooke is so much like this. It's just so interesting to learn about these things. They have a lot of money, but they don't talk about it. Very intuitive, sensitive, protective. I have an astrologer client, and I do have a lot of Cancer in my chart. And he said, everybody says Cancer is the crybaby, but it's more so like it's the crab. So it's this hard exterior, soft interior. It's like the ultimate mama bear energy. Like, don't fuck with the Cancer. Don't fuck with them. Leos. Leos can be very self-centered, have a lot of pride. They need praise and compliments, can be lazy. And you're going to see how each of these plays into the 4 quadrants here in just a second. Very grandiose thinking. Very grandiose, can be dominating, but then their proactive sides can be very generous. Caretaker, wants to take care of other people, very charismatic, energetic, an amazing leader, very loyal. And you could meet a Leo that you barely know and be like, I don't really know you that well, but you just seem like a really good person. And they're going to be like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I could even say this right now and go meet a Leo in 20 minutes and tell them that even after they just heard this, and they're going to eat it up. They're still going to love it. Virgos. Virgos, my ex-boyfriend, we had a very toxic relationship, but it was exactly what we both needed at that time in our lives. He was a Virgo. They see the perfection and then work backwards. They have this, it comes off as a sense of superiority, and I don't think it's because they think they're superior necessarily, but they feel inferior, but they portray this dry, cold exterior. And so you really, because of all the water in my chart, I'm like, he really did care. I know he cared about me. He really loved me. Be very fussy, like always tinkering with things, trying to make it perfect. They see the perfection and they work backwards. Their proactive is very reliable, detailed, meticulous, pays attention to the details. They're really, really good with systems because that's how they think. They think in systems. They're very watchful. They're taking it all in, very analytical, which you see how these can be good and bad. All of them. Like being analytical can be a proactive trait or a reactive trait. It depends when you default to it and what is required in that situation. Libras can have this intense fear of failure, terrified of being judged, mood swings, back and forth, overly concerned with vanity, with looks, with how they appear, can be people pleasers, which is actually a really big cocoon for Libra. And I'm a Libra rising, so I have dealt with this personally, that you weren't born to be a good person necessarily. Because a lot of people are nice, but they're not kind. They'll tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. And I have not being able to set boundaries with people. Like usually when you're resentful, it's because a boundary has been crossed that you didn't set or hold for yourself. Like you can't blame the other person for crossing a boundary that was never set or that you did set and you're just not holding to it. And so Libras are really here to learn those boundaries and to stick up for themselves and say what needs to be said. And when they do, that's a major transformation. Our proactive is like very fair, just, we can see both sides. And I really can. I can pretty much always see both sides. Like my mom hates Trump. She talks about it all the time. And I'm just like, well, I'm really grateful for him because he was what got us to Croatia. Like we would have never come had he not won. And so I feel like everybody has a role here. Everybody's just doing their job and we all are needed, really good public speakers. When a Libra decides to do something, they are unstoppable. The problem happens when they haven't decided. That's when chaos ensues because they haven't committed to do something. Scorpio. This is like, I don't want to say crazy water sign. My mom's got a lot of Scorpio. So the reactive traits, they can get very angry. Like you mess with a Scorpio and they will not let you forget it. Can be very controlling, vindictive, self-destructive, manipulative. The proactive sides, though, are, again, they're water, so very intuitive, goal-oriented, driven, very nurturing. They can be your best friend, very brave and courageous, willing to do the scary thing. It's so interesting to me that Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer are water signs, because to me, Scorpio just seems so much different. So much different. I don't really have any Scorpio in my chart. Sagittarius. They talk before thinking. They have this false certainty. Like, you could explain something really complex to them and they'll just be like, okay, got it. Yeah, this is perfect, 100%. The thing that I've heard the most about and from Sagittarius is just tactless. They just say things. And this straightforward nature can be really good, but you got to kind of take into account how your message is going to be received before you just blurt it out. Their proactive traits are very happy nature, happy-go-lucky, very connected to source, very connected to universal guidance, very adventurous, expansive, big picture, the visionaries. They see it all. And that's a really fun thing to be around. My ex, who died, he overdosed, was a Sagittarius, and I can see all of this in him. Capricorns. So Capricorns can be narrow-minded. They have this deep-seated fear of lack. They can often have difficulty with spirituality, things that can't be explained or proven. Hard for them. It's funny because my dad is Capricorn, very spiritual, but also very pessimistic and skeptical about things. It's a very interesting combination. They can be really shy and reserved, but their proactive traits are very hardworking. They can overcome any obstacle, romantic, responsible. And so these proactive would fall very much into the second quadrant, and you'll see how these all play together, how we need them all. Aquarius. Reactive sides of the Aquarius are, I have Aquarius North Node, unpredictable, insensitive, can be rebellious. They don't want to be boxed in. They need freedom. They crave freedom. Can be very oblivious to their own imperfections. And my best friend in college was an Aquarius. It's like they're the only ones. If you're trying to give feedback to an Aquarius, you can't tell them they're doing something wrong or that it's not, that what they're doing isn't right, because they're the type who they're convinced that they don't have ego, that they have no ego, that's not a problem for them at all, but they do. And so if you're trying, like, I usually, if I'm talking to an Aquarius and I have to give them feedback on something, I'll tell a story about another person or about myself and kind of try to shine a light on the situation from a safer perspective, where it's not you're not doing something the way that you should be. Can be very rebellious. They don't follow the social norms, not great with intimacy. The proactive sides are very expansive, no limitations, big thinkers, very sociable, brilliant, good with groups. They're good with group dynamics, not worried about criticism. And a big part of business is like learning to seek out criticism and receiving neither criticism nor compliments as true. Like it's all true, and not letting it hurt you, being able to receive a message whether or not you agree or like it. Because usually if you're getting a message, if something is coming up, if someone's telling you something about yourself, there's something in there for you, but not taking it personally. It's not about taking it personally. Be very humanitarian. So Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, farthest from the creator, but they're usually the closest to finishing their cocoon. So I have a Pisces moon. The reactive traits are very much dreamers, have this illusionary view of love. Like, you're talking to a Pisces and they just met him, we're going to move in. I love him. He's my soulmate. I'm just like, no, wait, like, don't want to. Very addictive personality. And I found this to be true. I mean, I struggled with addiction for 10 years, because they have this deep-seated this fear of lack. We need energy. So we'll look to things outside of us to get energy. It makes a very addictive personality, have a very big fear of being judged, of confrontation. You tell a Pisces, hey, I need to talk to you about something, like there's something, a Pisces can tell is not going to be good. They're like the fish. They'll just escape. You'll never see or hear from them again. Can be lazy. I like head in the clouds. Proactive traits are very altruistic, cares about other people, sensitive, very spiritually evolved. Like I said, the closest to finishing their correction, but there's a lot of darkness or lack that we come here to transform. Really great listeners, able to understand, to really hear the other person. Like a Pisces will just let you go on and on and on, and we're taking it all in. Very psychic and intuitive. I'd love to know in the comments how your sign, what we covered, resonated with you, and if it brought up anything that you were aware of that you needed to change or unaware of. Okay, so knowing your tikkun is only part of the battle. There's a difference between knowing what you need to change and having the mechanism, the framework, the formula to make that change. So this is the miracle formula that is guaranteed to unlock a miracle in your business. I've been doing this now daily for the past few weeks, and the changes have just been crazy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's very, very simple. So it's 4 quadrants. So we have a paper and we divide it into 4, and you have to write this down. Like, this has to be on paper. You can't do it in your notes or on your computer. It has to be written. So the first quadrant is maximum spiritual work. We know for a fact. Okay, raise your hand if you are aware of something that you need to change. Because what does spiritual work mean? That's what we're going to get at. So if you're here and you're this far and you think you're perfect, there's nothing to be changed, like, then you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to this. I already know. I know who I'm talking to. So it's not that. The spiritual work is being proactive versus reactive. It's allowing ourselves to go through pain without searching for immediate gratification. It's by using these altruistic, sensitive, spiritually evolved to instead of reverting to an addictive personality, to reaching from something outside of myself, to putting that energy into just being able to feel the pain or feel the lack or feel the darkness, and then doing something altruistic for somebody else, being a giver, coming from a giving place, because addictive tendencies are very selfish. It's me, me, me. I want to receive light. And what happens in addiction is you reach for something outside of yourself to get light, to get energy, and immediately after you do it, you have energy. You do. It's like, but you get bread of shame because it's energy that wasn't earned. You used immediate gratification to reach for something outside of yourself and fill yourself out of an attempt to overcome the lack or the fear, the depression, the lack of energy. And so you're not able to maintain that light. You're not able to receive and sustain it. So in Kabbalah, we have something called bread of shame, which is like where you're trying to shortcut the process and you receive something without having done the spiritual work to hold on to it. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we go into the whole miracle formula, you, on the top of your paper, write down an area of your life where you feel stuck. So what is one area where you would like to have a breakthrough, where you would like to experience a breakthrough? And then you're going to write down underneath that why I don't have my breakthrough yet. And the trick, so in Kabbalah, Satan, or the opponent, it's like this, the voice of the opponent. And the opponent is actually, it's a positive force disguised as a negative force, but Satan will try to trick you into only focusing on 3 of the 4 quadrants. So you'll be doing the spiritual work, the physical work, and have certainty, but you're neglecting the prayer. Or you're doing prayer, physical, spiritual, but you don't have certainty. We're going to go through what each of these boxes means, but an area of your life or your business where you would like to have a breakthrough, and then you're going to write down why I don't have my breakthrough yet. So hopefully we're all aware of something that we need to change. And the goal here is not that you have to change everything overnight or become perfect overnight. Let's say you have this deep-seated fear of judgment, and you know you have to get through this fear of judgment to put yourself out there online, to create long form content. You're afraid that people are going to think you're dumb, or you don't have anything to say, or that you're going to look silly. And so you know that you have this fear of judgment that you need to change. So that would be the spiritual work. Like, what is one thing that you know that you need to change? And it could be, or it might not be related to business, but we're all aware of one fear, pattern, tendency, one thing that needs to be changed. And again, the goal is to not get over your fear of judgment overnight. All we need to do, all the creator needs us to do, is to make the effort. It's not about, because they say in Kabbalah, your soul goes up every night and you could receive a new soul. And we all receive an entirely new soul after 5 years of going through a painful scenario or painful situation. And the goal of Kabbalah is to move through it. You could move through it in an instant. And so when you do your part, the creator does theirs. So your max spiritual work is something that you know you need to change. And the clock is only ticking. Like, once you become aware that you have this fear of judgment, but then you're not doing anything to get through that, the clock is ticking at this point, and it's going to continue getting worse and worse and worse and worse until you change or make the effort towards change. Does that make sense? It's not about changing yourself right away. It's about making an effort towards it. Okay, so maximum physical work. That is our top right quadrant. What is maximum physical work? It's different for everybody, and it depends on the result that you want. So if I know that I want to bring in $50,000 months, and there's certain things that I'm aware of that I should be doing, and if I'm not doing them, I'm not doing the max physical work. There's a reason when you go to the gym, you're breaking down your muscles, but your body gets stronger. So if you know that you have a gift for healing, coaching, guiding, seeing the best in others, being an amazing doctor, you have charisma, it is your duty to share it. Let's say you're an amazing doctor. That gift was given to you for the purpose of sharing. And what the opponent or Satan will do is trick you into doing maximum physical work. And the way that Satan works is there's always an element of truth, like work hard, work really, really hard. And you could be working really, really hard and still not see a breakthrough because you're only doing the physical work and you're ignoring these other quadrants. So your body has to be involved. And so, like, let's say you want to build 50K months, but you're delivering newspapers right now. Your body will be working, but it's not involved in the actual work of bringing about the result that you want. So it has to be realistic based on what you're doing. And you have to be doing the best you can with what you have. Business is that your capacity grows over time. When I first started making YouTube videos, this would have taken me so fucking long. Oh my God. It would have taken me so long. And I have since, my capacity has grown. I've created the AI tools, the 100K Biz by Design AI, because all of the things that I make and I give to my clients all started from me, from trying to solve a problem for myself. And over the past year, it's gotten easier and easier and easier to record YouTube videos. And so I know when I'm working with a client and they've never made a YouTube video before, like, it's going to take us longer to do that work. So writing down, are you doing the maximum physical work? Like, let's say you know that you need to get over your fear of judgment. What is the maximum physical work to help you do that? Maybe you need to be reading public speaking books, take a course, find a mentor, start investing in tools and workshops and courses and webinars or whatever to help you grow. And now you could read as many books about public speaking as you want. You're not going to get any better at public speaking. But what it will do is create the consciousness in you of that will connect you with the right mentor to help you bridge that gap. Okay, Now, certainty. This is where it's the attitude and the belief and the conviction that everything is from the Creator and it is good in helping us transform. No matter how painful, dark, challenging, confusing your current situation is, you can immediately transform and immediately jump into a whole new timeline by injecting certainty into the experience. So let's say you're doing the maximum spiritual work, you're doing the maximum physical work, but you're complaining that this is so hard. Why isn't this working? What is wrong with me? You're bitter, you're resentful, you feel like you're a victim. That is not certainty that everything is from the Creator and it is good. So how can you inject 100% certainty? Because the whole purpose of this is to become like the Creator, to transform the parts of us that are vessel-like. Because Kabbalah is the study of the vessel on how to receive the light. And so the parts of us that are upset that this is so hard, that this isn't working, why isn't this happening faster? Those are the parts of us that have to be transformed. In a business, building a business is inherently masculine because you're giving, you're bringing something to market, you're providing a service to other people. It's inherently masculine. And so in order to succeed in business, you have to go through rejection and fear and failure and taking things personally. And usually when you're taking things like really, really personally, let's say things are going well and then something happens, you get a no call, no show, so they just don't show up to the meeting or they're on a payment plan and it doesn't go through and you start taking it really personally, that is a trick of the opponent trying to make you resent your current situation. And usually when you are really like you faced a major rejection or taking things personally, it's like right before you're about to have success to the likes of which you have never experienced. If you don't let it overcome you and make you beat yourself up for not being good enough or doing the right thing. Okay, so we've got maximum spiritual work, physical work, certainty. The last quadrant is prayer. And a lot of us neglect prayer. And I know I certainly have. And prayer is, it's not praying to the Creator for money or abundance or success. It's praying to the Creator to give me the desire, because in Kabbalah, it's about receiving everything, thinking big, wanting it all. Desire is the impetus to receive anything you want. If the desire is there, you will push through. So you can pray and ask for strength, for clarity, for wisdom, for desire. And all of what this will do is transform the part of you that is vessel-like into being like the Creator, because you're not going to receive the help unless you ask for it. And what I have realized is when you ask, it is given every single time. And so the trick here is now in the morning, every day, what I'll do is I'll review my quadrants. So I have my quadrants here. I'll review this. And then on the other side of this piece of paper, I write down like the area of my life that I want to break through. And then my mission for the day is, how can I connect with the light and win the war with the opponent today? How can I do those things? And so now I spend 10 minutes every single morning, meditation, prayer, asking for strength, for wisdom, for clarity, for desire, to give me an even bigger desire. And it has really worked in so many miraculous ways. It's kind of unreal. Remember, the miracle happens when you're doing all four. Satan loves so-so. The opponent, Satan, loves so-so. There's no such thing as a 100% toxic relationship, because if it were 100% toxic, you would leave. You wouldn't stay. And the same is true in your business. Like, that's the trick of like focusing only on 2 or 3 of these and ignoring the 4th, because you're going to trick yourself into thinking, I'm doing all of the things. I'm doing what I should be doing. Why isn't this working? Well, I'm neglecting my prayer. or my certainty. I don't have conviction in my body that all of this is for my betterment. It's helping me change. Like when you're experiencing pain, being able to pause and say, what a pleasure that I get to experience this pain and clean out the part of me that is vessel-like and not like the creator, so I can receive all of the things that I desire. Because we're here to receive at all, and you have the ability to do that. So if you found this helpful, I would love to hear your thoughts below this video. Please come join us inside Spiritual Business School. It is my free community. I have tons of resources in there, free courses, free downloads to help you build your six-figure spiritual business. And we do a free call every Monday. And if you're like, all of this is great, Amanda, I've done the courses, I've done all the freebies, and I just know that I need some support and accountability, and I want a human design aligned business strategy to get there, you can click the link below to apply for my one-on-one mentorship. I got a few more spots open this week. And either way, I look forward to seeing you in Spiritual Business School. Mwah.